1770. Inside a cell in London's Newgate prison, a man is holding a small bone left over from his dinner. He isn't eating it, he's carving it. He has no idea that the object he's about to make will end up in almost every home on Earth, and that his own name will disappear from it completely. The historical record on why he was there is thin. The leading account says he was swept up during a street riot, the kind of disorder that filled London's prisons in the 1770s with men who were more unlucky than dangerous. Whatever brought him there, boredom is what changed everything. This is not the history of the toothbrush. This is the story of two men who built it, a century and a half apart. One forgotten, one destroyed. I'm Aidan Thomas, and this is Hidden History. To understand why this story starts in a cell, you have to understand how little dental care existed before it. Humans had been trying to clean their teeth for thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians used chew sticks, twigs frayed at one end, and considered them valuable enough to bury alongside jewelry in tombs. Across the Islamic world, a stick called the miswak had been in continuous, documented use for over 1,000 years, and modern chemistry has since confirmed it actually works. In China, by the Tang dynasty, craftsmen were already attaching stiff hog hair bristles to bone and bamboo handles, centuries before anyone in Europe thought to try it. It was, in almost every meaningful way, a real toothbrush. But the knowledge never fully crossed into the West. But in most of Europe, none of that sophistication survived. People cleaned their teeth with rags, salt, or nothing at all. Toothache was so common it had its own patron saint, and prayer was often the only treatment anyone could afford. There was no brush with bristles set into a handle. Not really, not yet. William Addis was not a dentist, not a scientist, not a craftsman by trade. He was, by most accounts, a troublemaker, arrested during a London riot, and prison gave him something most people never get, nothing else to do but think. He saved a bone from his meal. He sourced a scrap of wire. He drilled tiny holes into the bone by hand, threaded through tufts of bristle, and fixed them in place with glue. Not a chew stick, not a rag, a brush on a handle, built for one purpose. When Addis walked out of prison in 1774, he didn't leave the idea behind. He started manufacturing his brushes and selling them. Within his lifetime, his small workshop had grown into one of the most successful companies in Britain. His company didn't fade after his death. His son took it over, then his grandson. Bone handles gave way to ivory, then to early plastic. Competitors emerged, copied his method, and were sued for it. Addis fought to protect what he'd built, and largely won. For nearly a century and a half, a business built on a bone carved in a prison cell manufactured brushes for the entire British Empire, eventually growing into a brand that, in one form or another, still exists on shelves today. Here's the part that should bother you. Ask almost anyone today who invented the toothbrush, and you'll get a shrug, or a guess. A toothpaste brand, a dental company. Almost nobody says Addis. A man built an object used by billions of people every single day, made his fortune from it, and still vanished from its story. If case files like this are your thing, subscribe. We open a new one every week, because the toothbrush's story wasn't finished. For the next 150 years, every brush on Earth used the exact same material Addis had used, bristle from hogs, specifically the coarse winter hair of hogs, raised in the brutal cold of Siberia and northern China. And that supply chain was about to break. Hog bristle was never a perfect material. It split. It trapped bacteria. It softened and rotted with use. For 400 years, everyone simply accepted this because there was nothing else. Manufacturers specifically prized bristle from hogs raised in the coldest regions of Siberia and northern China. The brutal winters forced the animals to grow stiffer, more durable hair, and the entire global industry depended on that one narrow supply chain holding. Then two things happened almost at once. A world war cut off that supply from Siberia and China overnight, leaving dental associations pleading with the public to save their old, worn-out brushes rather than throw them away. And in a research laboratory in Delaware, a quiet chemist was about to make bristle itself obsolete. By the 1930s, a Delaware chemist named Wallace Carruthers was working on something that had nothing to do with teeth. He was trying to build the first truly synthetic fiber, a polymer strong enough, flexible enough, to replace silk itself. He was, by then, considered one of the most brilliant industrial chemists alive, DuPont's star researcher. Years earlier, he had already given the company neoprene, one of the first successful synthetic rubbers, along with a string of patents that made his employers a fortune. Colleagues described him as effortlessly, almost unnervingly gifted. Success, on paper, had never once been in question. And yet, for years, he had privately carried a small glass capsule of cyanide in his pocket. A quiet insurance policy against a failure he was convinced, wrongly, was inevitable. His colleagues saw a genius. Almost none of them saw what he was carrying. He called it nylon. It would go on to become parachutes, stockings, rope, and, almost as an afterthought, bristle. In February 1938, the first synthetic bristle toothbrush went on sale, Dr. West's Miracle Toothbrush. In a single product launch, it ended a 400-year global supply chain built on frozen pig hair. But Wallace Carruthers never got to see it. He had spent years battling deep depression, convinced, wrongly, that he had nothing left to give. He begged DuPont to let him stop working. They didn't. This was 1937. Depression, in that era, wasn't treated as an illness. It was treated as a private failure, something a brilliant man was expected to simply outthink. Colleagues who noticed his exhaustion had no real framework for what they were seeing, and no real way to intervene. He kept working. The company kept assigning him projects. Nobody stopped. On the 16th of April 1937, Wallace Carruthers checked into a hotel room in Philadelphia alone. He had spent the previous weeks insisting to friends and family that he had accomplished nothing of lasting value, a claim that, to everyone who understood his actual work, was almost absurd. That night, he drank the contents of the small glass capsule he had carried for years. He was 41 years old. 11 months later, the invention that would carry his breakthrough into nearly every bathroom on Earth went into production without him. Think about what that means. The object you pick up every morning without a single thought exists because of two men, a century and a half apart, who never met and never could have imagined each other. One spent his life building a company that outlived him by generations, and still lost his own name to history. The other built the material that would make his invention immortal, and didn't live to see it help a single person brush their teeth. Fame and obscurity, success and despair, two completely different lives, both quietly erased by the same small, ordinary object. It wasn't scientific understanding that finally made brushing a universal daily habit. It was an order. During the Second World War, the American military required every soldier to brush their teeth daily, without exception. Millions of young men carried that discipline home with them. What became routine wasn't born from evidence. It was drilled in, one barracks at a time. Today, the toothbrush is so ordinary that dentists give it away for free. It costs less than a cup of coffee. Nobody reads the name on the packaging and thinks of a prison cell or a hotel room in Philadelphia. The object survived perfectly, multiplied into billions of copies across every country on Earth. The men who made it did not survive in memory at all, not the one who profited, and not the one who never got the chance to. Next week's case file, a company that convinced the entire world that love has a price, measured in carbon, dug out of the ground, and priced by a single company that controlled almost the whole supply. I'm Aidan Thomas. This is Hidden History. Take a look around. History is everywhere.